Hello YouTube. So this is going to be a video about changing spark plugs on my 2012 Subaru Impreza. There's no videos out on this yet to change the spark plugs, and I know the spark plugs can be a pain in the butt. So hopefully I can get this done properly with the tools that I have, that I've researched on. So I've been reading that the hardest part is the rear driver's side spark plug. So I'm going to try and attempt to do that one. You can kind of see it here. I'm going to have to remove the battery to get access to it. So I got one. Let's see. There's the front one, and the rear one is back there. So I'm going to attempt that one first, and we'll give it a shot. So I'll go ahead and start by removing the battery. So the battery has been removed. See if we can get in there. You can see it a bit better now. So this right here is the coil pack. This one here, I gotta remove. I can feel the bolt right now. There it is. That's the bolt, the 10mm bolt. I gotta remove to remove the ignition coil, and then I'll get access to that plug. So let's get rid of that guy. Let's have a look at that hole there. So that's where the spark plug is. Right in there. So that's going to be the hardest one to take out. Alright, let's give it a shot. So I got a spark plug here, as I'm using OEM plugs I picked up at a local auto shop. There we go. Laser Iridium by NGK. So I'm going to attempt it with a 14mm deep socket, universal joint, and this is a 3-inch extension, and these are all 3/8 socket set. So hopefully I can get that done. We'll give it a shot. So I got the plug out, and there it is. Looks like some oil deposits. Looks like some oil on the plug itself, on the threads, which I believe is common for Subaru. Let me get this focused here. So I was able to get into the plug with my 14mm deep socket and just the universal joint, and with that I was able to get it in. And then I didn't have my 3-inch extension didn't work out, so I had a small little adapter. This is a 1/2-inch to 3/8 adapter. So I put that on my 1/2-inch ratchet, and I was able to plug that in, and I'm able to slide this in there easily and get it out. So now I'm going to install the new plug on this one and then move on to the next ones. So I got my new plug here. I'm going to thread it in by hand at first, and then I'll tighten it up via a torque wrench. I can actually get my big torque wrench in there and torque it up to, manual calls for 12.9 foot-pounds. So I'll just go to 13 foot-pounds to get that torqued up. I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize on the threads, but just on the portion, the lower portion here, since some of the thread does actually go into the engine itself. So I'll do that. Okay, so I was able to get the spark plug on the rear driver side torqued up, reinstalled. So basically I threaded it manually with my 14mm DEET socket and my universal joint, just by hand, threading it in as tight as I could. Then I went and used my regular ratchet to tighten it up, and then finalized it with my torque wrench, setting at 13 foot-pounds until I heard that click. So, and actually I can insert this type of setup. So I have a 14mm deep socket with a universal joint attached to it, and then an adapter from a 1/2 inch to 3/8 going onto my torque wrench. And I'll just zoom in here. Alright. Socket attached to my torque wrench. My other hand. Might be hard to see here, but come in. Usually I come in like this at the top, bend it in already, and it goes right in, and I twist, and I'm actually already in. So that's it. That's how. So I can torque it from here on that one. So that's the hardest one, and then I can move on to doing the other ones. So obviously this one here should be easier, and then this one on the passenger side, I'll remove the air intake, and I should be able to get at that. So hopefully this helps you guys out, anybody with a Subaru Impreza or Subaru the Crosstrek 2012 and above on the FB 2.0 engine. So there you have it. I finished installing all the spark plugs in all 4 cylinders, put everything back together. Make sure you reconnect the mass airflow sensor. All the bolts are in there. I just got to reconnect the batteries. The battery. So these are the parts that I used. 14mm deep socket, the Husky. I used a 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter, universal joint. I have my torque wrench up here and a regular socket wrench, and those are my old plugs here. So this was the driver rear, driver front, passenger rear. And on this car I have about 107,000 kilometers on it, so it was due for a spark plug replacement. So I'll put the battery back up, hook it up, give it a test drive, and see how it does. So I'd say overall it's about an hour to do the job if you have the right tools, but obviously if you're doing it yourself it's probably going to take you a little bit longer. Just take your time with it, especially when threading the new socket back into place, because you don't want to cross thread and you don't want to over torque it either, because that will give you major headaches. But overall it is a doable job. Just make sure you have the right tools, do the research. If you're not comfortable, bring it to your dealer or your mechanic, and you should be fine. But overall I think it was a good do-it-yourself. Obviously a lot harder than the inline engines, the 4 cylinders, or the non-boxer engines, I mean. This is my first time working on a Subaru engine, actually. And so this is my Impreza. I do have a Forester, but it's pretty much brand new, so I won't be touching that until probably a couple years from now. Thanks for watching.